goal for tonight really is to go over our volunteer assignments and see where we're short so that then we can actively fill people in and recruit. I have about, including us, 33 volunteers who signed up. Whether or not all of them will actually come through the day of is another question, but I will be emailing them tonight after our conversation. The majority of people have signed up to come and work the first half of the day, which is fantastic, but we definitely need people at the end to help break down and get our vendors and our vendors and all of our community groups and anybody who's participating safely out of the area. So that's something to keep in mind as we move forward the next day or two in terms of when we're asking people to volunteer if they can come later in the day. The specific tasks that need to be done are...
Actually, Lisa has her hand up. Did you want to ask now, Lisa?
So sorry, Nikki, I just didn't, I just wanted to acknowledge, I know in my own personal circumstance, there wasn't an option on the volunteer to do a full day. So I ended up clicking 8 to 12 because I wanted you to know I could be there early in the morning, but for the purpose of head counts, I am planning to stay all day. As is my sister, who I know is dialing in a moment. So from the scheduling perspective, you please count on us. And I meant to add a note, but then I hit submit too soon.
Is there anybody else who is the same in the same way with Lisa?
Yeah, I plan to be there all day.
Perfect.
Yeah, I plan to be there all day. I think I submitted all day. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yes, you did, Casey.
Okay.
Lizzie, that's
so just assumed it since your mom is like your mom. The same way my kid is going to be there all day. Lisa, what's your sister's name? Did you register her or should I add her now?
She is registered. She's Maureen.
Maureen
Carpentieri. So she'll be on in a moment too, but yes.
Oh, I don't have her on the list.
Oh, isn't that funny? We thought it went through because we did it together. So yes, count her in. But I'll tell her, I'll text her. Sorry, I'll just tell her to add it in.
Thank you. Okay, so I think the craziest time is going to be that 8:30 to 9:30 time when people are arriving to set up. Everybody's going to be anxious to get into their spots and know where they're going. So that is really where we need the most help at the beginning of the day in terms of our interaction with our participants. So we'll need people on School Street to direct our food vendors up to the corner of School Street and Main Street and show them the area and help them sort of, get set up. The food trucks obviously don't need as much setup. They'll be able to just sort of drive up and park. Luckily, we only have about a dozen or less food vendors, so it's not going to be that complicated. But we want to make sure that they know where the electricity is and that they all have trash receptacles right near where they're set up. Because I'm assuming that most of their products will be handed out on paper disposable products, plates and things like that. The second area will be a little bit more complicated, which is the East Elm Street entrance from Main Street. We've sent a map to the vendors instructing them to enter from that direction because that's the way the road naturally goes. So we'll need somebody at the corner, a couple of people up there just to check to make sure that they are vendors and direct them to go direct all the way down and pull into the to stop at the first available space to unload all of their stuff. And then before setting up to get back in their vehicles and move them into the Crescent Street garage. The other thing that we need to tell all of our vendors is that once they are set up or parked, they've got their stuff unloaded, that they need to check in at guest relations. And that's the information tent. And I was hoping that Janet could be there if she's comfortable with that.
Say that again, Nikki.
Could you be in guest relations in the morning?
Sure. And where,
So that'll be the information tent, and everybody will have a map, but it'll be right on the corner of East Elm and VFW Parkway. And what we're telling our vendors once they arrive, is once they get all their stuff unloaded, is to go over and check in at the information tent. And Janet, each vendor will get checked off a list, and then they'll receive a bag of stuff. And there'll be 2 separate lists. One will be of sellers, the marketplace, the marketplace businesses, the small businesses, and the other one will be our community groups. And there'll be 2 separate.
Sorry, Nikki, just for everybody, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the map, we've done that before, but so at the top of Main Street, if you come into Main Street onto East Elm Street, it is called East Elm Street, but as you take around the corner past the flags, that's called VFW Parkway. Believe it or not, it has 2 separate names, but for the sake of it, I just want to make sure people had an understand. So again, Main Street coming down around near the flags that are right in front of City Hall, and then exiting, well, going to Crescent Street where the parking garage is.
Exactly. And that will be easy enough for them to then enter to the Crescent Street garage without too much difficulty. Janet, and for anybody else who ends up working at information, we'll probably need to have a couple more people there checking as people arrive, because they'll all arrive at the same time, checking people in. So the businesses, the small businesses will receive the small business bag that we have from Small Business Saturday. And the community groups will receive a bag from Harbor, that's the Harbor One branded bag. And inside each bag will be, information that they need, their vendor badges, their COVID guideline signs, a map and schedule of the day, just all of that necessary information that hopefully will answer all of their questions without too much confusion for them. And so we'll give them each a bag and then check off that they received it. And they'll also have like hand sanitizer in there and masks so that everybody can observe the COVID protocols. And when we're checking people in, Janet, if we could just be thoughtful to remind them that we need them to help enforce social distancing and wear the masks and have hand sanitizers in their booth, because we definitely can't control the public. So we definitely want to try to set an example and model that example through our own vendors and volunteers. So that'll be the vendor piece, and it'll be the same for food vendors as well. Once they arrive, ask them to come down to the information booth to check in so that we know they're there, and answer any questions that they might have.
Nikki, just
So
a quick question for
Mhm.
everyone, just before, in case we lose someone early. The day of, and I know we have some people that are able to make the lunch on Friday and some that are not, but if for those that are not able to make Friday to go through just the instructions, if they're going to come on Saturday, they're going to have them first come here to OCPC offices?
Yes, we'd like to have everybody check in at 8 a.m. at OCPC. We'll have, some coffee and whatever. And we'll also need people from there to grab things for their area. So we'll need help bringing all of the bins with the vendor badges and bags and, all of the stuff that we need to set up for them will have to be brought over from OCPC to the different areas that they're needed to be brought to. And it will also be a time for you to get your own volunteer badges and masks and things like that if you don't come with a mask, and hand sanitizer for your own personal use.
And hand warmers too.
Oh yeah, hand warmers. If you don't bring mittens. So
I shared in the chat the weather. Well, I shared in the chat the weather, the link to the weather, and it's looking sunny. As long as the wind stays down, we should be good. So at least
Yep.
it's going to happen. So that's the good news. We just need to make sure everybody's prepared, but we'll have hand warmers and again, having 70 School Street will be used as a place for people to get warmed and to trade off and that type of thing.
Yes. And there are restrooms there, so you don't feel you have to use the porta potties unless you want to, or you need to. So those are the two major pieces that I think are going to be the most complicated, aside from actually setting things up. So I'll need a couple people at 8 a.m. to be available to direct when like BC Tent arrives. They'll need to be directed as to where to drop off the tables and chairs, where to set up the two tents, the information tent and the Santa tent, and the staging stuff will have to be moved. So they're going to drop all the tables and chairs off at one location, and then we're going to have to pull a few of them out to bring over to the Lincoln Street lot, to the vaccination station, and to the stages. But the majority of them can stay in a pile, and we'll allow vendors to sort of come and grab their own table and their own chairs rather than trying to set them up.
Where will that
like
pile be, Nikki?
It'll be right on that corner. I've asked them to deliver it right to that corner of
VFW?
and East Elm. That seems to
Okay.
sort of be our central location for stuff. And then they'll put up the tents as well, the two big tents. As vendors are checking in, just to remind them that tents cannot be staked into the ground, that everything needs to be weighted down. That's just a really important thing because we don't know where electrical and water lines and things like that are in City Hall Plaza. So we don't want to risk anything happening there. So if we can have a few people who are comfortable sort of showing those that where people need to go to set up, that would be fantastic. And then as the day goes on, the volunteer needs are definitely to remain in the guest, the information tent, to make sure that people know what's happening when and where. Nancy has already agreed to be the stage manager for the first stage. We'll need a stage manager for the second stage. We'll need people in each area to just be on hand to help direct people and to also help all of our participants. So we'll need somebody who can be in the touch-a-truck area, somebody who can be in the vaccination area, and a couple people throughout the marketplace and the food court, just to be on hand for all of those vendors and to make sure that everything's going smoothly and that everybody has what they need to have.
Just
in
an
terms of the
update, Nikki,
parade,
on the vaccination center, Jason Hunter from Mass Hire, they're the property owner, they're the building owner. He said that he will be on site for a good portion of the day. So,
perfect.
so he will be there for when the vaccine arrives. So the vaccine is not arriving, remember, until like about 10:45.
Yes, so we'll probably want to have a volunteer there in case there are people who are lining up for things, just to say this is when they're coming. Feel free to
Right.
stay, feel free to come back. And that's another thing that's going to need to happen, is that because it is a public open space, we can't really stop people from walking through. And so they'll definitely be milling about, especially if it's a beautiful day. They'll probably start arriving between 9 and 10. We just want to try to help give the vendors and everybody else the space they need to set up. So we'll just I hate to use the word police, but it'll sort of be crowd control, and just, just reminding people to, that everything will open up at 10 and but feel free to, because Joe will be playing music and, look at the map and just sort of get acquainted with things. Just so everybody knows, we'll ask everybody to familiarize themselves with everything that's happening throughout the day and where everything is happening, so that no matter where you are, you can direct people to other stuff that's going on. We especially want to remind people that there's a full day of events, of really wonderful events happening at the library. They've been working super hard at making the day special. And we definitely want to direct people to go to the library. And we will be directing them down Maple Avenue, which is on Crescent Street, directly across from where VFW Parkway comes out, because that's the safest way for them to get to the library, rather than trying to go down Main Street where there's construction in front of the at the corner of Belmont and Main Street. I mean, of course, people can walk any way they want to walk, but we want to try to make it as safe as possible for everyone.
So Nikki,
Um,
will they walk by Joe Angelo's and that way and cross over to the library?
When we met, Janet, when we met with the Brockton Police Department this last time for the walkthrough, because of the construction and because of the narrowness, they were recommending that they do take Maple Ave. I mean, people, again, to Nikki's point, they're going to walk wherever they want to. We're just trying to keep them off of Main Street, because Main Street in front of, there's the construction that is in the new DTA building. So while we're encouraging to use Maple Ave, that's our first choice, we can't prevent someone from utilizing behind Joe Angelo's.
So
Yeah,
if you go by the Joe Angelo's and go in there by that little alleyway and then cross over to the library, that's sort of the way we want to advise people?
yeah, I think that's the safest way for people. But again, you know, they'll make their own decisions. We just
Okay.
want to be thoughtful about their safety, and also making sure that people know that there's stuff happening at the library. And we'll have a copy of their schedule that everybody will receive or will have available for people to have at the information desk, so that they can take that and see that schedule as well as our own schedule. And they have translated that into 4 different languages, because it's a pretty comprehensive day. So we'll have those all available at for the library. Our schedule is just going to be in the one language because it's pretty straightforward and it just mentions times. But if people think that we need to translate it, I'm happy to do that as well. The map that is being made is basically icons, so that it should be recognizable to anybody. There's a picture of Santa, there's a picture of Frosty, you know, there's stages, there's information, there's little market booths. So hopefully that will be an easy way for people to understand the map, if English is not their first language.
So if we're at the information desk, we should sort of advise people the route to take, maybe cross Crescent over to Joe Angelo's. Is that
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna actually so there is a little map, and we've put an icon for the library with an arrow to Maple Avenue on it, so that you can point out on the map, you know, don't forget the library. And I'm gonna make an enlarged version of that for the back of the library schedule specifically, that shows a more detailed pathway from our activities to the library. So you can just flip it over and point that out to them. The parade pretty much takes care of itself at this point. The volunteers that I've assigned to handle Lot A and Lot F are pros. They've been doing it for many, many, many years. And plus the participants in those lots have also been doing it for many, many years, and they know what they're doing. So we don't actually need parade volunteers per se. Anthony, I know that you and Richard can handle Lot A, and then Stanley, who has been my Lot F guy for years, is going to be in Lot F. And so that should take care of itself. And the police and BEMA and everybody else will handle the road closings and the directing traffic and all of that. So we don't really have to worry so much about the parade, which is a very weird thing for me to say this time of year. So I want to just stop for a minute to see if there's any other questions, or if Mary has anything she wants to add.
I don't have anything else to add. We've had some great cooperation and some walkthroughs with City Hall, from Board of Health to Building Department, DPW, Fire Department, police department, traffic, parking authority, licensing, and of course, the mayor's office with Sydney and Davison, as well as the mayor and the other team members. It's just been in a short period of time, and I want to say the school department, I just saw some emails and social media, they've been getting it out. So just, it's taken a lot to get here. And I know, Davison, you have your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, I just had one quick question. Where and when, what time will the mayor be speaking? When is his speaking portion?
So we've scheduled him for after the parade. So it's hard to say, to give him an exact time, but my anticipation is that usually the parade takes 2 hours. So since we've cut it down significantly, my guess is that it's only going to take us 45 minutes to an hour to get the parade, from point A to point B. This year, I've asked the marching band, instead of just dispersing at the end of the parade, to march onto City Hall to the amphitheater where they'll do their halftime show. And then after that, I've scheduled time for the mayor to do whatever it is he feels he wants to do. And then after he finishes, the Rockabellas will Rockabellas will sing I think 4 or 5 songs, and at that point we should be at the 3 o'clock mark, which is when everything will sort of close out the day, which I thought the Rockabellas being the last to close out with some songs would be a nice way to end things. So my guess is that we could tell the mayor between, right around 2:30.
Okay. Yeah.
Sydney?
Does that?
Is there speaker sound system?
Yeah,
Yes.
so he'll be using Joe Lupica. Joe
Will be there.
Lupica is our DJ. He's the one who's there every year for the parade,
Mhm.
spinning tunes, and he's just fantastic. He's at all of our events, and so he'll be there and he'll be providing the sound system. So we'll have a microphone for the probably a wireless mic for handheld mic for the mayor to use.
Okay.
Do you feel he needs a podium, and is that something we should bring from City Hall out?
Yeah, Sydney saying no. Sydney?
Yeah, I don't, yeah. I
No?
defer to
Okay.
Sydney here.
Yeah, no, I wasn't
Okay.
trying to, Davison, you could have handled that. Yeah, I don't think he needs a podium at all. But I was just wondering, are we going to ask Mike Thomas to say a few words since he and the mayor were the two that originally got together and decided to have this?
Well,
I don't know.
I mean, we could, since I was the one who approached the mayor and the superintendent. I mean, if he's around it, if he wants to, great. If he doesn't, I'll reach out to Mike to see if he wants to, but
Just a
that-
thought.
Yeah. If you feel that, then we can reach out to him. So
This is my first rodeo. I'll let you all, but I just thought about him because I know that the two of them, put their heads together to sit with you, Mary, to talk about this. So I just don't want to leave him out if we felt we, should.
you know what, for the year that the school department has had, and this is all the reasons, right? But the mayor had made a focus on having this be, in terms of who's going to participate, having as many Brockton schools be involved. Not just only, the Brockton school system, but, Cardinal Spellman as well as Trinity, wherever they could. So what I'll do, Sydney, is I'll do a quick reach out, and I'll include Nikki. So then when he responds, that we'll have that be part of the program. And just something that Nikki had said in terms of having the mayor speak, and he's proficient in this. It is important that, I think, particularly if he recognizes city councilors that have been involved, or if they're around. I mean, it may be helpful just to say that this is truly as it was, as in the title, it's a community holiday, and it means from the elected officials to us Joe Schmo volunteers who are kind of here, that it really just takes all hands on deck to get it off the ground. So,
And it's a great idea to have the mayor do that, because he'll know better than any of us who's who
Exactly.
and what's
Mhm.
what. So, yeah.
I mean, I definitely think we should defer to the mayor, whatever his level of comfort is, and what he wants to use that time for. I would, wait, I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. Um, we have been billing it as the recognition of the 200th anniversary. So we don't want that to get lost in the shuffle. I know that's something that is important to him. So that'll be a piece of it too.
That's a good point, Nikki. So just for points for if Davison, if you're gonna be putting some bullet points together for the mayor, the 200th celebration. So thank you to the mayor's office. They've been, they worked with Montilios to get a cake for North Bridgewater in recognizing the Grand Marshal, the parade marshal. And it's the Jalen from the Kennedy School. So having them be recognized. So those would be just kind of just some highlights.
Um, so, so, cake. I love cake. Cake is my favorite thing. So we have a cake. Are we actually cutting this cake and serving it? And if we are, how are we managing that?
I don't know yet. Oh, Cindy, you're muted.
I was being fresh. I said, we're not bringing it home, Nikki.
You and me, Sydney, out behind City Hall. Yum, yum, yum.
So
I think you should cut it. We've done that at a couple of events. I mean, it won't be enough for everybody, but we'll do the best we can.
Okay.
At the Veterans Day Parade where Sydney
Yeah.
was, they did it right in front of, or beside the stairway leading into City Hall in the amphitheater. And it went very well. I can't remember who cut it, but they did a great job and everybody waited patiently and got a little bit of cake, so.
So do I need to add to, Mary, do we need to add to our shopping list, napkins, plates and forks?
I think so, for sure.
Okay.
Good question. One other thing that I thought about, and this just came to me when I was walking around downtown passing out flyers, which is probably a dangerous thing to have happen. But so we have a couple golf carts that I think that are coming. I was thinking that maybe the cake might be able to be brought through the parade as the 200th, and I don't know, maybe
Make an announcement.
make an announcement,
Yeah.
or just have it be part of the parade and recognize, I don't know, that may or may not be, I don't know. I'm thinking of some ways to, or do we just put the cake, leave it right at City Hall and?
I think
You're
having
talking to
it at
you're
City,
talking to the woman who fell in the parking lot yesterday, so I'm saying leave the cake at City Hall.
yeah, let's leave the cake at City Hall. Leave it covered,
Maybe.
maybe inside City Hall, but don't tell the teenagers where it is. And
You can always
I
put
think
it
that
in
would
my
be sweet.
office. I mean, I can
Okay.
put it in the office and bring it
Yeah.
down. I don't, how big is this cake? It's kind of large.
Give us
Yeah,
how big is it?
Just a full sheet, enough to feed 100 people. So.
so we'll just leave it downstairs.
Yeah.
Davison, did you have anything else to say?
No. Yeah, no, I think just those two pieces of knowing when and where the mayor is going to speak, so I can just have it in my mind.
Great.
I wanted to acknowledge that Danny is in the room. Hi, Danny. Was there a specific area that you wanted to help out? I'm gonna actually probably go around and do this to everybody. If you haven't been assigned to an area to volunteer yet, is there a specific area that you'd like to volunteer or in the time that you're coming and leaving?
Well, if there's any positions, like people that go or take that position, I'll be able to take it. If that makes sense.
I didn't hear that, Mary. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't. You know what I might have you do is, Danny, if you could just get a little bit closer to the laptop, that would be helpful.
If there's like any like open positions that someone didn't want to take, I could take them.
Okay, what time are you coming?
Oh gosh.
Are you coming at 8 in the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll fill everybody in and I'll send a schedule out. Davison, I know that you had wanted to do a table for the mayor, like a talk to the mayor kind of table. I didn't purposely put that on the schedule, but I can if you want me to. I just also know that he probably wants to walk around and enjoy the event and say hi to people and maybe get his picture with Santa. So is there a specific time that you want to say he'll be there, or how do you
So
want to manage that?
essentially, it's not a meet the mayor's table, it's a meet the mayor's office table. So like,
Okay,
just to highlight the people that we have in our office, the services that we offer. So the mayor doesn't even need to be at the table. He could be there for 10 minutes and then go and enjoy the parade. So yeah, that's so it's going to be our table is going to be on that corner of VFW Parkway with the um, information table, right?
yeah, yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured it would be. So then I'll add into the schedule 10 to 12:30 or
Yeah, 10 to 12, I would say. Um, yeah, and we'll have coffee and hot chocolate for folks.
there's
Uh,
going to be so much hot chocolate at this event. Somebody bring the peppermint schnapps.
You guys will guard the cake, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. I'll guard it with my life, Janet.
I'll be like, what are these little nibbles that are missing? I thought this was a full sheet. We'll see like a slice down the middle and have it shoved back in.
Exactly, around my,
Miss Davison gets.
between the
Hey,
hot,
Nikki,
Um,
I'll be
go
in
ahead,
charge-
Casey, what are you saying?
No, I'm just saying between the hot chocolate and the cake, I'll be in charge of that, but I don't know if anybody else wants me to be in charge of that. There'll be less of a
Just for a time check, I do have to leave in like 15 minutes because I have to pick up my husband's aunt Sis to bring her somewhere. But maybe if Nikki, if you can continue to go along to see what people, anybody else like Felicita is on here as well as.
I just saw that. My heart leapt when I saw Felicita there. I actually wanted,
Felicita's been here the whole time.
I know, but I'm on my phone, so I can only see like a few of you.
Oh,
And, I can't see everybody. Felicita, you'll do whatever I ask you to do, right? You're muted, hun.
No, you guys can listen? No?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there all day.
Fantastic. Are you bringing any of your fabulous kids?
Yes.
Okay, great. I know I can rely on you guys. Thank you so much. I wanted to jump over to Rebecca if I could. Rebecca, could you unmute?
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
So Rebecca is going to be working with Santa as an elf, and we're really thrilled to have her join us. Do you have any questions about the role that you'll be playing?
She knows it well.
Okay. So Rebecca, Santa is only going to be taking pictures from 10 until 12:30. And then I have to get him over to the parade, and then he actually has to leave the event to get back to the North Pole. So if you wanted to arrive around between 9 and 9:30 to his, what I'm calling his throne room, that would be perfect. And that way you can get familiar with him and the setup. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And Mom, are you going to be there too?
Yes.
Okay. So you'll be able to help out if needed that day?
Yeah. Whatever you need me to do, whatever they need me to do. When we work with our Santa, I normally will run and do whatever they direct me to do.
Okay. So I'll just give everybody on the call a little rundown about what's happening with our wonderful Santa. We are having a 3-sided tent set up for him right on City Hall Plaza near the Christmas tree. I have velvet rope stanchions coming to create social distancing and a line for him. We have a photographer coming, and we have our own special printer to print out photographs so that everybody can have a picture taken with him, and they'll receive a free photograph, compliments of the Downtown Brockton Association. To maintain Santa's safety and the safety of all the kids, we are putting his throne in the back of the tent, and then in front of him will be one of those beautiful vintage benches that's in City Hall right now, and that will be in front of him. And Shirley Asak is, as you know, a florist, and she and I work together on a lot of stuff. So she'll be helping me decorate with some live trees, little trees and plants to create decoration and more of a barrier between the bench and Santa. And we will invite families to come up and face Santa over the bench and just kind of whisper and talk to him. And then he'll ask them to turn around and sit on the bench, and he'll stand or sit behind them, and we'll take the photo that way. And he's very comfortable with that. And I think that it'll work out well. And it'll be beautiful. And the pictures will come out just as beautiful as if they were sitting on his lap. So
Nikki,
the
will
only,
someone from the Board of Health be there kind of going around the area during the day?
I don't think we've asked anybody to do that.
Might be a good idea.
I mean, what would you foresee their role to be?
Just to have an eyeball on things if people aren't maybe following protocol. I mean, all of us, of course, should be doing that, but you know, somebody who's really well acquainted with the protocol.
Well,
Let me weigh in on that. So
Yeah.
Bob Butler, but anybody, we were instructed very clearly by Bob Butler from the Board of Health what it means to consume. Anybody that's registered as a vendor. So if they're not registered on our list, they're not participating. They are not, we just don't. And so if someone is consuming, whether it's liquid or whether it is food, except for hot dogs, they don't need a permit. So there are certain things, and I guess the best way for us to approach that is they're going to do what they want to. Bob Butler may show up, but I don't think that there's a need, Janet, for us, because they're not going to be there. I mean, the food vendors have to get a permit from the Board of Health. If they don't have a food permit, then they're not going to be there at all.
Yeah, the permit and their serve safe certificate have to be displayed when they're serving food. And it's also, now that I'm thinking about it, when they check in, I think we're going to ask just to see it, just to make sure that they have those.
I don't
Mary,
mean so much that, because I mean, those of us who do the information desk, you know, should be doing that. But I just mean in the crowd. I mean, just
Well-
somebody kind of, I know it's not the police, but
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I
gently,
think-
kindly say, you know, maybe you should be doing this or doing that. But if you
Well,
don't think the Board of
so-
Health should be there, it's fine.
I don't
know.
necessarily, I mean, I think that that's really kind of a sticky wicket to
Can I do-
go down
only
that
because
path.
I'm running out in 5 minutes and I can't
Okay.
leave people in this office without having me be in here. Let's
Okay.
table that. Let's
Okay.
get Janet's question, and I'll go back to Bob Butler if there's something, and then go from there. But Davidson has his hand up.
I do want to let you know, Janet, that I have 50 laminated COVID protocol signs coming that we will be posting throughout the entire event. And again, we will be encouraging all volunteers and participants and vendors to wear masks and have hand sanitizers. And hopefully, you know, modeling that behavior and maintaining social distancing will be enough for our crowds to, you know,
Because
understand
it
that we
really
don't
is
want
a touchy time. I mean, all the news shows just locally, I mean, COVID incidence is going way up and kids are, so I think we really have to
Yeah.
be careful.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so you know, we'll be having plenty of, hold on, let me see if you can see me. We'll be having plenty of supplies and things like that will be distributed on through the day and have available for people too. So.
Yeah, we'll have extra masks for everybody, not just our volunteers, but even the public at the information booth and at different places, at both DJ booths, at both stages, at some of the community groups in the marketplace. So we'll definitely have opportunities for people to pick up a mask if they don't have one. Davison?
Sorry, mine is just a quick logistical question again. For the parade marshal, I'm actively just in contact with the family. Where and what time do I tell them that they need to arrive?
So they should arrive by 12:30 to Lot A, which is basically that road behind Joe Angelo's that loops back out to Crescent Street. There will be a convertible car from Copeland Toyota that will be at the front of the line, and that will be the car that they will sit in. They should bring a blanket if they want to cover their legs, if they're worried about being cold. Generally, we have the Grand Marshal sit up on the back, not in, but that's since it's a child, I think safety reasons, she might want to sit in the car, definitely have a parent there to hold her to make sure that she's safe in that convertible as she goes down the street and waves. But that is where she should go and she should check in. And again, we'll have Anthony and Richard Hook in Lot A, making sure that everybody's in where they need to be.
Okay, so I'm in touch with that, right? Okay, all right. I'll mark it.
And John Marion, will we be doing something similar for him?
John is for the first time in 35 years taking his wife away for their wedding anniversary.
Okay, so we're not gonna do what we kind of talked about earlier?
No,
No.
so I am going to leave both Nancy and Danny here. They're going to close the door, so you guys continue. This is being recorded, so if there's anybody that needs to be caught up, they can watch the recording. Brockton Community Access is all set, but again, there's a lot of these details that have been taken care of. And if you're going to be able to be here on Friday, we can go over more detail. But certainly appreciate questions as they come along. So thank you, everybody.
What time Friday, Mary?
Ask Nikki.
So Friday afternoon from 11 to 1 at the at Mary's office there at 70 School Street, we will have lunch. It'll be an opportunity for us to really plug everybody in, go over again what they'll be doing, but we'll also need some help just assembling stuff like name badges and the vendor bags. And so it'll be sort of like an assembly line as well of putting things together so that we're all set to go the next morning. If you can't make that time, that's okay. Just check in with me so that I know what time you're coming and what you're available for. I pretty much have Danny and Janet and Davison and Casey all set. I know what Rebecca's doing. Sydney, I'm assuming you're going to be at the Meet the Mayor table. Lisa, I know that I'm going to be able to put you in the marketplace with your sister. Felicita, I'm going to have assignments for you. Anthony, you will be Lot A in public safety. And Maureen, sorry, I didn't see you on there. Is there anybody that I missed? Betty.
Guys, yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you after the meeting, Nikki.
Okay, babe. No
All
problem.
right.
There's
And
Hello.
somebody named
Min?
Whistling and Donna and Min Tran.
Okay, so Whistling, you want to say hello and let me know what your thoughts were about how you can help on Saturday? You have to unmute yourself. Or you can write a comment in the chat room.
Hey, Nikki, not to take anybody's time or anything real quick. I just have to jump off, but
No.
I'll send you that plan tomorrow. And any other on the city side of public safety things, any other concerns or anything that pops up, just let me know beforehand. But I'll probably see you Friday at some point. We can talk afterwards. All right.
Thank you, Anthony.
All right, bye.
Nikki, I'm sorry to ask so many questions, but this has gone on will go out on the robocall by the school department, right?
Mary has actually been the one in touch with the school department, so
Okay.
I will have to double check that.
Okay.
I know that I had asked her to get the flyers because they generally send a flyer home with every kid, and I don't know if that happened. At this point, it's probably too late, given that tomorrow's the only day to do it. So we'll just have to double check that.
Okay. All right. I won't ask
Min?
any more questions because I have to leave. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you on Friday. I can't be there at 11, but I will be there on Friday at some point. So I'll let you know, Nikki. Thank you,
Janet.
everybody.
Bye.
Hi, Janet. Take care.
Bye.
Min?
Hi, Nikki.
Hi,
I
how are
missed
you?
the first, good, thank you. How are you? I'm sorry I missed the first part. I was late to the meeting. I know that we have a table and we're going to be staffing it. I don't know what else we could do. I know that you said that you needed somebody at 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I assumed, Min, that you were gonna be at the table, staffing your own table, because I
Yes.
know you guys are doing hot cocoa and stuff, and that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're probably not going to do hot cocoa, being that I see that everybody else is doing hot cocoa. We're going to give them, we'll hand out hot hands to the kids and the family members and candies and just kind of a bag of goodies. We don't have any
Okay.
resources or anything.
Are you guys gonna stay open till 3, or are you gonna shut down at the parade? Because I know Tim is probably marching, right?
Yes. We're probably going to shut down at 3 or when we run out of goodies to goodie bags,
Okay, great.
whichever happens
Thank you.
first. Thank you.
And Donna? I will be attending Friday meeting. Okay, great. So I think I've gone over everything. It really is at this point, just a reminder over the next few days, wherever you are in town, to get those flyers out. If you don't have copies of them, let me know.
Sorry to cut
Sorry,
you off.
Davison?
I just see a hand from Maureen.
Oh, Maureen?
Hi, guys. Sorry. So, Nikki, just so you know, the robocall did go out. It went out yesterday, Monday
Oh,
night,
great.
to all the schools. All families got it. I got it myself. So, and that no flyers went out, and there's no school tomorrow, so there's no chance of that happening.
Okay. Thank
but
you for letting me know that.
The call did go out last night to everybody. It included some really great information. Jess Hodges put it out. And it included the vaccination station too. So I think that's going to be your big draw for getting families there with kids. So I think you're good. I think you're good.
Great. Thank you so much. I also saw that they shared it on their Facebook page with a shout out to our first department store Santa, which is a great thing. So I want to thank them for that. But that brings me to my next point in terms of what we need to do over the next couple of days. If everyone on this call shares the information onto their social media or their personal email contact lists, that would be huge. Please do that. I'll send a follow-up email with a flyer and JPEG images that you can share. Go to the DBA Facebook page and share directly from there. I'm going to be doing a top 10 reasons to come to the event post tonight, and I'll be posting tomorrow all of our vendors. And so I'll be posting like a couple times a day from now until the event. So there'll be plenty of things for you to share. So please just share away. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Silence. Crickets. Okay, I think we're good. We'll see as many of you as we can on Friday. If not, we'll see you all at whatever time you plan on showing up on Saturday, 8 a.m. for the early starters. Everybody else check in at the information tent throughout the day. If anything comes up, I'm always available. You have my cell phone, you have my email, or you can reach out to Mary as well. We're both working tirelessly on this, as all are you, and we appreciate it and we love you. And we will all enjoy some cake at the end of the day. Unless Davidson and Casey eat it all first.
Okay first.